So I got a new editing software. Oh yeah, and I saw a little known film called Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is Disney/Marvel's 15th film. And God, it's gone in a weird direction. It's directed and written by James Gunn, and it stars Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Michael Rooker, Karen Gillan, Pom Klementieff, Kurt Russell, and Elizabeth Debicki. So yeah, as you probably know, it was my second most anticipated film of 2017, behind Star Wars. Nothing beats Star Wars. But yeah, I was very interested to see what this film would be, because I really liked the first one. It had some problems, but yeah, it was really enjoyable, and it was a breath of fresh air for the MCU, similarly to what Captain America the Winter Soldier was. And in addition to that, one thing I found very interesting about this film is the trailers give away very little about the actual plot of the film. In terms of, it's not another Spider-Man Homecoming trailer that just gives the film away beat for beat. No, there's a lot of surprises to be given with this film, and I really appreciate it with this one. And very little teaser teasers. Yay! Surprisingly, critically, this film hasn't actually been doing too well. People are giving it relatively low reviews, which I'm very surprised at. I'll start off with saying, that obvious clickbait in the thumbnail, it's not a bad film, in my opinion. It does have quite a few problems. It's like Jessica Jones on Netflix, if you've seen it. Jessica Jones is a pretty enjoyable show. It's really fun. It's pretty good. However, it does have quite a few flaws. It is very flawed. However, my overall feeling of it is it has enough strong parts of it, and it's enjoyable enough to just feel like it's worthwhile and worth watching. And to those who say, "Oh, I can't see myself watching it again," are you sure? Are you sure you saw the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 I saw? Because from what I remember it being a hell of a fun of a ride. You will definitely enjoy watching this film. Of course, if you're going out of your way to not enjoy it, then yeah. I think what more people stand towards is it isn't particularly memorable. And that's what Marvel's been suffering with quite a bit. There's always one thing in a Marvel film that you remember. You know, in the first Iron Man, there's the bit where he's going against the terrorists. That's one of my favourite action scenes in the MCU. In Incredible Hulk, there's nothing memorable about it, and that's why I don't like it. Same with Iron Man 2. In the first Captain America, I did actually quite like the sequence of him going after the Nazi spy. Then in Thor, not memorable. Avengers! Nearly everything about Avengers was very memorable. Iron Man 3 and Thor 2 were so forgettable. Then Captain America the Winter Soldier has a huge amount of things that I remember very clearly. Guardians of the Galaxy, very memorable. Even Age of Ultron, Hawkeye's speech, I can still remember. Ant-Man has a couple of funny gags in it. Civil War has the airport sequence. Doctor Strange has, again, some pretty good jokes and visuals. However, I'm struggling to come up with what I think of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And it's just Marvel in general. It doesn't make very distinguished films. This one doesn't really stand out from the others, other than it's just sheer insanity and weirdness. And that is something to be appreciated. If you're a Dark Knight sort of person who only likes dark and gritty, then learn to have some fun. But also, I feel sorry for you, because this isn't the sort of film that you'd go into expecting it to take itself seriously. It's very goofy, it's very fun, but to know that it's intentional really does help. You get the point. This film does have some memorable moments, though. In particular, I really like the opening sequence. I also thought that there were a couple of really good references throughout it, and a number of jokes that stood out in my head. I don't want to spoil any of them, but for me, Drax was a show stealer in terms of jokes. In fact, in general, Drax the Destroyer stole the show, and I was thinking that for quite a while of it, but then I was like, oh yeah, Baby Groot was really good in every scene he was in. Also, so was Rocket. And Yondu. Most parts of this were very solid all around. However, unfortunately, characters like Groot, Rocket, and Drax were really B-listed. They weren't really given anything to do in this film. Every character seemed to have a point in the first Guardians of the Galaxy. However, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it's like, right, we know what we're doing with Star-Lord, we know what we're doing with Gamora, we know what we're doing with Yondu, and all the others can just do whatever. In my opinion, Nebula was a bit overacted. That's not a problem, though. Nebula really was a very good character in this film, and her dynamic with Gamora, I would have liked to see a bit more of it. Likewise, there's a really bizarre choice that I don't want to spoil, but there's chemistry between two characters which is extremely lacking, which I found pretty odd for this film. It's not like it really took anything away from it, but it just was a bit of a bizarre choice. Villains. This film doesn't have a throwaway villain. They actually do have motivation, and they actually do have a sort of arc, and that makes that villain far better. Although their plot, their idea as a villain is stupid. Okay? It's dumb. Have I triggered enough of you yet? I think I have. One other thing is, in my opinion, I don't know why, I was very underwhelmed by the action scenes. Now, I'm not saying that action is perfect storytelling or anything, but, for example, let's say The Empire Strikes Back. It's not an action film, but it has enough action in it to keep us entertained, and it's a result of all the previous character development. This film has some character development, however, it never really expands on it, and we never really see the team act as a team ever. We see them do things together, but we never really see the team work together. That's a really jarring thing about this film that I just simply don't understand. As I said, there are a number of great action scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. For example, there's the prison break sequence. That was awesome. There was the bit where Gamora and Rocket are both hunting down Star-Lord. That was awesome. The finale, that was awesome. Nowhere, that was awesome. However, this one, I can't remember a single action scene that took place. I can remember a lot of the humor. In my opinion, the humor was better in this one than it was in the first one, which is hard to beat, trust me. CGI, this film had too much of it, let's face it. Not all of it was bad. You can tell they focused on characters like Groot and Rocket far more than they focused on some of it. There's a scene with a spacesuit that just looked so obviously green screened, and they obviously could have used more practical things. But with things like the Obelisk, I don't know how they could have done it. Like the makeup and other practical things all around are very, very good. And here's the thing, though. It's really lacking of purpose at the beginning. It has quite a few narrative problems. As I said, its characters aren't really given that much to do. Not much of it is particularly memorable. As well as that, I feel that Mantis she was there, but then she didn't do anything. That's a problem I have. The beginning of the film is very different to what the rest of the film is. It feels like it was lacking a purpose or a point. In Guardians of the Galaxy 1, from the get-go, here's Peter Quill getting the main MacGuffin of the film. He then gets attacked by someone who's working for the main villain of the film. We're instantly in the plot there. With this, they're hired to fight a giant squid monster thing from the sky. Then Rocket steals some batteries. Then they have a quick talking to. Then they're flying off. And then I'm not going to spoil anything further than that. But it just didn't feel right. That's the thing. Ayesha didn't feel right. She didn't fit into the film, if that makes sense. She was there, and she wasn't bad or anything, but she was just so randomly there that I just can't help but say, huh? Why? If that makes sense. Here's the thing. People are saying it's terrible because of that. Not really. I mean, I've already given enough points, but in my opinion, overacting isn't a problem. Characters not doing much, that is a bit of a problem. A lack of action is a bit of a problem. Being a bit forgettable is a problem. But they're not that major of problems, because even after that, we still have a pretty good plot, we still have some awesome standout character moments. It's a very fun, enjoyable film. Most of the CG holds up anyway. The characters are really fun to be with, so is it bad? I can definitively say no. It's not as good as the first one, I'll give it that. However, with that said, guys, I'm going to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 an 8 out of 10, which makes it the third film of this year that I've given an 8 out of 10. Whatever. And then with that said, guys, I'm going to end the video here. So, let me know what you think of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 in the comments below, because seriously, I'm very interested to see how the masses interpret this film. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Please check out my gaming channel, Mr. Chicken167, and also check out my Twitter, at Mr. Chicken4321. And, as I said, new editing software, you probably can't tell. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.